Arrow, Episode 2, Honor Thy Father. An epic retelling, the city had changed. 5 years lost at sea, or presumed dead, had transformed Oliver Queen, but Starling City had its own wounds to heal. Crime had spread its roots deep into the streets, and greed had sunk its claws into the hearts of the powerful. As Oliver Queen stepped back into society, he knew he couldn't just return to the life he had once lived. His mission was clear, etched into his soul by fire, betrayal, and blood. He would honor his father, not by words, but by action, by justice, by becoming someone else, something else. But even the strongest resolve can be tested, and Oliver's would be, quickly, a funeral and a father's legacy. The episode opens with Robert Queen's body finally laid to rest. The sun shone dimly through the clouds, as if mourning along with the gathered family. Oliver, in a dark suit and darker thoughts, stood silent, his mind caught in the last haunting memory of his father. The words still echoed in his ears, his father's confession of sins and his desperate plea for Oliver to right the wrongs he could not. Laurel Lance stood nearby. Though she and Oliver had once shared something close to love, that warmth had since iced over. Her sister, Sarah, had died on the Queen's Gambit, a death for which she still blamed Oliver. And though she was polite in public, the hurt was too deep to truly forgive. As the funeral ended, a new storm was about to begin. The list. Names and justice. Later, in the shadows of Queen Mansion, Oliver returned to the small book his father had given him before dying. The Book of Names. Every name was someone who had failed Starling City. Corrupt businessmen, crime lords, politicians, people who wore masks of respect but preyed on the weak. And on that list was a man named Martin Summers, the next target. Summers was a ruthless businessman tied to the Chinese triad, using his influence and wealth to poison the city with drugs and violence. But what truly pushed Oliver to act was Laurel. She was representing the family of a dock worker who had been murdered by men working under Summers. Laurel was in danger, and Oliver knew it. Two faces of a man while. Oliver prepared to put on the hood once more. He also had to maintain his public persona. His return to the world of the elite meant press conferences, charity events, and, most painfully, business meetings with his mother, Moira, and her new partner, Walter Steele. They wanted Oliver to step up, take his place in Queen Consolidated, and be the heir Robert had raised him to be. But Oliver, with a feigned smile and disinterest, declined. The boy they knew had died on that boat. The man who returned had different plans. Meanwhile, Detective Quentin Lance, Laurel's father, was relentless in his skepticism. He didn't buy Oliver's story of survival or redemption. He saw only the spoiled brat who had taken his daughter's sister on a death cruise. And now that brat was back, causing chaos again. The city had a new vigilante, and Detective Lance was determined to catch him. The hunt begins. That night, the hooded archer returned. Under cover of darkness, Oliver infiltrated Summers' heavily guarded estate. Arrows flew like silent death, swift and precise. Guards fell unconscious, and in minutes, Oliver stood before Summers. He gave the man a chance to confess his crimes and turn himself in. But men like Summers don't surrender, they retaliate. True to form, Summers hired the triad to eliminate the threat. The assassin assigned, China White, a deadly warrior with hair as pale as bone and blades that sang with violence. Her job? Kill the vigilante. Kill Laurel Lance. Protecting Laurel the next day, Laurel was followed. She sensed something, a presence, but shrugged it off as nerves. That is, until masked assassins attacked her in a parking garage. Outnumbered and unarmed, she fought back, brave and fierce, but she was only human. Then the green-hooded figure descended from above like a phantom. Oliver fought with calculated fury, arrows and fists moving as one. He disarmed the attackers, saving Laurel's life, but not without catching a glimpse of China White, his equal in many ways. The fight between them was intense and swift, a dance of blades and dodges in a flurry of motion. She fled, vanishing, into the shadows with a hiss of defeat. Laurel, stunned and breathless, was safe. But the mystery of the vigilante deepened, secrets and surveillance. Meanwhile, back at Queen Mansion, something darker stirred. Moira Queen, Oliver's mother, wasn't the grieving widow she seemed to be. In secret, she met with shadowy figures who spoke of the list and the undertaking. Moira had secrets, dangerous ones. And it became clear, she had orchestrated her husband's yacht trip and knew far more than she let on. Even as Oliver waged his war in the streets, he was being watched. Every step, every move captured by hidden cameras and unseen eyes. Honor thy father. In a final act of justice, Oliver returned to Summers. This time, there would be no warnings. He hacked into Summers' files, exposing his criminal connections, and delivered the evidence directly to Laurel. With nowhere to run, Summers was arrested and brought down by the very system he had corrupted for years. Laurel looked at the file in disbelief. She didn't know who had helped her, or why. But she knew this. Someone out there cared about justice, and for Oliver, it was a step forward in honoring his father's dying wish. Flashbacks, the island amid the present-day chaos, Oliver's memories, pulled him back to the island, Lian Yu. The island was no paradise, it was hell. In flashes, we saw Oliver, hungry and alone, crafting his first tools, learning to survive. But he wasn't alone for long. A hooded man appeared, dressed in green, a hunter, a warrior. The first sign that the island held more secrets, and perhaps more danger, than he ever imagined. This man, shrouded in mystery, would become a teacher and a tormentor, shaping Oliver's path into something greater, a new crusade. As the episode closed, Oliver stood once more in his hidden base beneath the Queen Mansion, his father's notebook in hand. Another name crossed off, another step taken. But this was only the beginning. He would have to fight harder, dig deeper, and face enemies not only with weapons, but with secrets. The city was sick, and Oliver was the cure. I must become the man my father hoped I'd be. He looked into the shadows, not as Oliver Queen, but as the arrow.